This is Lab 2, Build Tables and Add Records. Go to Blackboard for this course, so just log into your UCA account, click on My Courses, go to the Intro Databases, and click on the assignments link. And this is Lab 2, so the only thing you have to download is the instruction file. So I'm just going to go ahead and open it. Enable editing. So the first thing we're going to do here is we're starting from scratch. We're not downloading a pre-existing file. So we're going to start Microsoft Access 2013. So down here on my taskbar, on the left hand side is my Start button. I'll go to All Programs, find my Microsoft Office 2013 and open the Access 2013. From my taskbar on my instruction, we want to create a blank database, and by clicking the small file folder icon on the right portion of the screen, we're going to navigate to the desktop and save this database as students, and then we'll click the Create button to create it. So for my taskbar, I'll bring up my Access program. I'm going to click on Blank Desktop Database, and right here, the folder to the right side of the file name, we're going to click and navigate to the desktop because I'm going to save it on the desktop. On the file name, we're going to call it Students, and then we're going to click OK for the name, and then right here, the file name is Students. It's going to be saved to our desktop. We're going to click the Create button. For my taskbar, I'll bring up my instructions file. We're on step 2. In Design View, we're going to make a new table named Student ID and Addresses, and we're going to design the table with the following information. So these are all going to be all the field names, and fields in a database are columns, and then we're going to set the data type. That's not good. Okay, so what I need to do here, on my Home tab in my Views group, click the drop down View arrow and go to Design View. We're going to call this Student ID and Address, just like the instructions said, and click OK. The first field name here, let me bring up my instruction file, is Student ID. We want to set it as the data type of number. Then the next field will be first name, short text, last name, etc. So with my file, the first thing we want is Student ID. Hit your Tab key. We need to change this data type to number. Hit the Tab key. We're not going to type any descriptions. That's strictly, and you can see it's optional. That's if you have a complicated field, a field that you think maybe an end user doesn't understand what it's for, you would leave them a description. So it's just mainly for documentation. So hit Tab again. The first field, the next field we need is first name. Tab, this should be short text. It defaults to short text, so hit Tab again just to accept it. Hit Tab again to go to the third field. This is supposed to be last name. Spacebar. Tab, it should be short text, which it is, so hit Tab to accept it. Hit Tab to skip the description field. The next field is going to be address. Tab, it should be short text. Next one's going to be city. Tab, tab. State. Tab, tab. And zip code. Now, zip code is going to be a number field. So when I tab this, I need to change the data type to number. Hit Tab to move over a field. Hit Tab to skip the description. And now we want phone. Phone is going to be a text field because we're going to put the dashes in. If it was just numbers, we would change it to a number, but since we want the dashes in it, we're going to have it as a text field. Okay? So we have the fields. I'll bring up my instruction file. So we have got all the field names and data types. Now we want to set the city field to default to Conway. So I'll now, from my taskbar, bring up my access file. So on the city field, so in the field name, click anywheres in that city cell. So anywheres in that cell that says city, when you click on it, at the bottom you'll see the field properties for that field only. In the default value, find under the General tab the default value in the cell next to it, type in Conway. When we say it defaults to Conway, if this is a database of, say, all of the Conway High students, probably most of them are from Conway. You don't want your end user entering the word Conway 5,000 times. If there's 5,000 students, it will automatically default to that. We also now in the instruction sheet set the state field to a size 2 and default it to Arkansas. So I'll bring up my access file. I'm going to now click in the state field name, and on the properties we want the field size to be 2, so change that 255 to 2, and the default value to be AR for Arkansas. I'll bring up my instructions file. We want to mask the phone number to look like this so that the end user, if they have to stop and key in the opening and closing parentheses and the dashes, it makes the end user mad. They like to use just the number key. So if you can keep them on just that keypad, the number keypad, and let the computer put in the dashes and the parentheses for them, they'll be a lot happier. So we're going to mask it so that the end user puts in nothing but numbers. The computer system will automatically put in the dashes and the parentheses. I'll bring up my access file. Now make sure you click in the field name phone to get the field properties for the phone, and on the General tab in the field properties where it says mask, input mask, type in a parenthesis, open parentheses, then type in 3 dashes or pound signs to represent the area code, and then close parentheses, type in a hyphen or a minus sign, type in 3 pound signs again, that would be the prefix of the number, and then type in a dash and 4 pound signs to represent the suffix. Okay, I'll bring up my instruction file. We're going to set the gender field to default to F for female, but we're going to put in a validation rule that only the end user is allowed to put in an F or an M. If they put anything else, it will not accept it. And we also want to put in validation text that says enter only an F for female or an M for male. And the reason we want the validation text, what that actually is an error message to the end user if they do it wrong. So I'll bring up my access file, go down to the gender field, and on the default value, we want to type in an F for female. On validation rule, we want to type in F or M, so that if they put in anything other than F or M, it will not accept it. And the validation text is the error message that we want to display if they do it wrong, and we want to type in enter only a F for female or M for male. Okay, so we're done with that. In Datasheet View, we're going to add these following records to the table. So in Access, what we have to do is go to Datasheet View. On your Home tab in the Views group, click the drop-down arrow and go to Datasheet View. Now, anytime you change from Design View to Datasheet View, it's always going to ask you to save the table. So just say yes. So the first student ID that we need to enter here is 1123. The name's Andrew. So 1123. Hit Tab, type in Andrew, Tab, and go ahead and type in all of these records into this table by hitting Tab in between each field. Now notice when you finish the address and you hit Tab, Conway is already there. So if there's a field that's Conway, it defaults to Conway, and on your list here, if there's ever a Conway, all you have to do is now tab over it to accept it. The first record, Arkansas, is correct. Then we're going to type in the zip code, the phone number. Now, when you get to the phone number, all you're going to do is type in the digits. So 666, 666, 6666. Tab. It will automatically put in the dashes. All you do is type in the numbers. The first one is a male. Now we've got it defaulting to a female. So just all you want to do is type over it. I'm going to hit a Shift M for male and hit tab. And then type in my next record. And now when you come to Conway, the city, if it's a different city, in this case here we have a Greenbrier, all you do is type over the Conway, type in Greenbrier, and they'll type over it. Same with Verlonia and Morrilton. If I try to type in anything but an M or an F, let's say an H here, and I hit tab, remember that validation text we put in? Enter a F for female and M for male. It will not let you out of that cell until you have to put in an F or an M. That's all there is to it. You'll never get out of it. Okay, so go ahead and type in those records. And whenever you're finished, just go ahead and save, just like we did in the previous lab, and close it out. Okay, I'll bring up my instructions, save and close. In design view, we're going to make a new table called GPA using the field names and data types below. Okay, so I'll bring up my access work file. Up on the ribbon, we're going to click on the Create tab. In the Tables group, we're going to click on Table. And we're going to do this in Design View. So it defaults to Datasheet View, so click your drop-down arrow on your View button and go to Design View. We're going to call the table GPA and click OK. The first field we want here is student ID as a number, major as text, minor as text, and that'll be short text, and GPA as number. Okay, so the first one will be student ID. Tab. We're going to change this to number. Tab. Tab again. The second field would be major. Tab. We want it short text, so just hit tab to select it. We want minor, M-I-N-O-R, short text again, and GPA. Tab, change this to a number. We want to, in Design View, we're going to change the properties of the GPA field as displayed below. We've got to make sure the GPA is selected by clicking anywhere in the field, and we want the field size to be single, decimal places 2. I'll bring up my access file, so click in the GPA field name. Down here on the properties where it says field size, if you click where it says lawn integer, as soon as you click in that cell, at the end of that cell is drop down arrow. Select single. Where it says decimals auto, click in that. Follow that cell till you see the drop down arrow, and with this one we want to be 2 decimal points. We don't want a default value. It has 0 here, so just take out the default value, and the no and the no and the general are fine. Okay. So now, in the instruction sheet, we're going to switch to Datasheet View. We're going to add the following records in the GPA table. We're going to type in the student ID number here, hit tab, type in the major, hit tab, type in the minor, hit tab, GPA, and type in all these records. And when you're finished, there again, save and close the table. So bring up access. We have to change from Design View to Datasheet View. So click the drop down arrow on the View button and go to Datasheet View. Anytime you switch from Design View to Datasheet View, you always have to save it. So click yes to save it. and then go ahead and enter all those records, and then at the end you're going to save and close it. And then the last step in the instruction file is, and I'm going to let you try this on your own, we're going to go Design View. We're going to make a new table called Student Hours. In Design View, add these fields and these data types. Then you're going to switch to Data Sheet View. It's going to make you save it and enter the following records. There again, by hitting Tab in between each field. Save and close it, and when you're finished, submit it through Blackboard through the appropriate assignment. If you have any problems, contact me and I'll help you out. Good luck.